And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 38. 38, Dutch?
What? But number 38?
Okay,
They are impractical, I tell you.
I don't know where that tone of voice came from, but yeah, this is a show about shows, episode 38. We got a fun one tonight, man. We got a few fun reviews.
Yeah, you know, we're not going to be bogged down like usual with like, you know, because we're actually on schedule this week.
Yes.
So that's what makes me happy when we're on schedule. We can still run like a top. If we sound different, we look different, it's because we are in the Pierce Owens studio.
We definitely look different because you can't see us.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, we're probably more attractive this way. But
I'm a sexy bitch. So
but you know what? You can sit back, get some lotions, and just listen to our voice.
What's the lotion part?
I don't know. You can just relax and I don't know. Do what comes naturally.
I don't want to know what you do in your own spare time.
When you
lotion.
hear a silky smooth voice like myself and yourself, you know, you can't help but be aroused. Anywho, thank you for joining us again. I'm Dutch McAllister, if you figured it out yet.
Oh, yeah. Jordan Owens here. Have I said that? I don't know.
You've already said that.
This thing's off the rails, man.
Already off the rails. This is what happens when the Dizzler is not around.
So we got four movie reviews at the top here for you.
Yeah.
3 of them we can do together. Or, I'm sorry, 2 of them we do together. The other 2, we gotta go solo.
Birds.
Solo birds?
Solo birds. We're slow, you know.
I got myself confused.
You'd think that I did something before we started. We didn't. We just enjoying the studio apartment today.
So I'll start off. Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to introduce, if you want. The first movie you went to go watch alone. It's called Impractical Jokers, the movie. It's based on the television show Brian, James, John and Sal pull hilarious pranks. Oh, Joe.
Read your own notes.
Well, I couldn't because it's a little shadowy in here. Sal and, pull hilarious pranks on unsuspecting public. This has Sal Volcano, Joseph Gatto, James Murray, and Brian Quinn. Tell me, because you're a big fan of this show. I certainly am,
man. I find this thing, it's a fun, stupid, pass-the-time show, which means it's equaled out to a fun, stupid, pass-the-time movie, man. I was actually a fan of Brian Quinn, a.k.a. Q. Even before the show, he has a podcast called Tell 'em Steve Dave, along with Brian Johnson and Walt Flanagan, the comic book men. Mm-hmm. So I was aware of him, and yeah, you can just tell these are 4 buddies who are just trying to kind of one-up each other, make them say some outrageous things, do some outrageous things, and it makes sense. I mean, we're on like season 6 or 7 now, and
my God.
And now we got a movie based on it. And if you've seen Between Two Ferns, or I'm trying to think of what else did it, there's actually a story here in a way that connects the goofs and the pranks. It's not just simply, prank like the show is.
So they actually have this little tiny story to follow.
There is. Like I said, it's very kind of reminiscent of Between Two Ferns, as in, they go on a road trip to get from point A to point B because of Paula Abdul, who's in this thing.
Hey, straight up now, tell me, was the theater crowded in this one? And if you didn't get my...
it was...
Did you get my straight up now, tell me?
Yeah, I got it. That's one of her 3 songs I might know.
Yeah, 2 step forward, 1 step back on that joke. Go ahead.
And then she danced with a cat. That's the other thing I remember.
That's the one. 2 step forward.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, some people don't like the interstitials. They felt like they could have just went full on. Hey, just do a prank show with a bigger budget, because there are a couple bits here that probably they couldn't afford to do otherwise. There's a funny cave bit.
So it's almost like Jackass. Remember how they did their movie? They didn't really have a plot. They just did their skit.
That's what some people wanted. I didn't mind the interstitials. Some of them don't work, but I thought a couple of them did. And I kind of like seeing something different too. Yeah. Personally, I like that we saw a different side of them. In these interstitial bits. Although some of them, kind of fell flat. The last bit with Abdul that we're leading to, I thought kind of fell flat for me a little bit here. So I'm not going to overly rave about this by any means. Like I said, it's stupid fun. I wouldn't necessarily say this is something. It was just at our regular theater, but I know there was also doing, Fandango events, I think, of this.
No, yeah, it's been out in the theaters right now. It's just...
Well, I think some theaters, if you don't have regular, I think you might have to do, an event.
Oh, okay.
Because I think that's what my brother was telling me. So it's not something I would overly pay for, because I didn't really feel like they jumped to that next level. This very much just felt like stuff you would see on the show for the most part.
Now, I know we're going to get to the rating in just a second,
yeah.
But how many people were in your theater? I'm just curious how many people really wanted to watch this. I know you saw the 10 o'clock show or something like that.
I saw the 10 o'clock, which was a small theater. Yeah. I would say it was a half-packed small theater. There's a handful, but not a lot. But of the few that were there, there's definitely me and at least 2 to 3 others that were quite enjoying ourselves, I think.
Okay. At least
some chuckles happening here. And I think if you're a fan of the show, I don't see how you would be disappointed here. So I'm going to give it... I can't give it more than 3. It's fun. It's fun. It's not overly anything I would write home about. Like I said, if this was just a made-for-TV special, I might give it a 4. But when you tell me it's a theatrical movie, like in fact, you mentioned Jackass. Yeah. Jackass probably did a better job of being more like, oh, it's a movie. Let's do some bigger shit. Pop it up. Yeah. You know, this there's several times where there's just them on the side. They have a bit where they have their car breaks down, quote quote breaks down. They have people do wacky things, but they can do that on the show, so, so 3. It's fun. I liked it, but, this next one we saw together. Yeah. Called The Photograph. When famed photographer Christina Ames dies unexpectedly, she leaves her estranged daughter, May, hurt, angry, and full of questions. When May finds a photograph tucked away in a safe deposit box, she soon finds herself delving into her mother's early life, an investigation that leads to an unexpected romance with a rising journalist. This one stars Issa Rae, Lakeith Stanfield, Chanté Adams, Lil Rel Howery, Rob Morgan, and Noel.
Yeah, I know we talked about adding a lot of names, but those people were really pivotal in the parts that they.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't disagreeing with that.
But no, I'm just saying so people understand why we don't. We're trying to scale those back now. But I got to say, this I loved. I love this film. I thought it was so sweet and endearing. It's a great tribute. It's just, I don't know. It's just something about this film, how it goes forwards and backwards and interlaces the story. Because it's kind of like, I really can't really tell you about how it interlaces enough. But the powerful part by Issa Rae, she again, we'll see her later on in that comedy, later on this year. But she's from Little and a few other movies.
Right.
And then we'll see her later on this year as well. Lakeith Stanfield puts in another great performance, another underused, utilized actor in my book. Where he's always brought the small parts. This one at least brings him up. To where he needs to be to show that he can be a leading man in this day and age, everyone else. Little Ray Howery is funny anytime he's in these movies.
He's someone that I don't think I could ever see the starring role, but with little side characters like this, he's fine in. Yes. Yeah, and Yolande Noel, who played May's love interest, not May's love interest, but her mother's love interest in the past. As the younger part, and Rob Morgan played the same part. Both put in great performances as well. So who is Chanté? She the mother?
Chanté is the mother.
Because I was going to say, people that I'm not too familiar with. I'm familiar with a little bit with Rob Morgan. I've seen him before. But definitely shout out personally to Chanté and Noel in the flashbacks, if you will. Yeah, of
perfect chemistry.
Good stuff there.
Good chemistry. It's like I said, it's a great romantic film that just vibes to me, and there's a little scenes that just kind of make you tear up a little bit, not like cry, but just tear up of how good emotionally this film treats itself. What did you think about it, though? I mean, I enjoyed this film.
I'm pretty much right there with you. I don't know if I got to the next level like you did with this one. I think it's definitely elevated by the performances here. As I said, the people that I'm new to anyway, Yolal and Chanté, and then not surprised that I enjoyed Issa and Lakeith. I've been a huge Lakeith fan for a while, and Issa Rae is also really good too. I mean, I'll enjoy seeing more of her in the next year, several years, and there's good chemistry between the two as well. Always very important in a movie like this is the chemistry between them, and then the other ones in the flashbacks that we mentioned too. So it works pretty well on most levels here.
Absolutely. For my snowflake rating though, I talked it up. It's not a 4. It came close. I gave it a 3.5. I think it's a very good watch. Go out, watch it, at least in the theater. If not, wait for it to come out on VOD or DVD.
I thought I was going to underrate it to you, but I'm going to give it 3.5 too, actually.
That's good.
I'm going to go, definitely below a 4. It didn't, like I said, it didn't quite get me to that next level. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I'm
you know,
3.5.
you know, I did tear up, but now if I would have bawled my eyes out, then yes, it would have been like a big real issue. But so the next movie, I went by myself. I was all by myself.
You went all by yourself because you had to go at what, 4 a.m., 9 a.m.
It was an 11 o'clock movie.
I ain't waking up till noon.
It was Call the Wild. It's a film based on Jack London's 1903 novel of the same name. Buck is a big-hearted dog whose blissful domestic life gets turned upside down when he is suddenly uprooted from his California home and transplanted to the exotic wilds of Alaska, the Yukon, in the 1890s.
Damn.
Where he ultimately finds his true place in the world. This stars not only a CGI dog by the name of Buck, but Harrison Ford, Omar Sy, Dan Stevens, and Kara G. And I gotta tell you, I found this just a great family film. I mean, I sat there, I was in awe. I mean, you know, some people said, oh, the CGI, you know, Buck, you know, his CGI is a little different. But But I thought, you know what, that's fine because he is the character, but because he has to show a little bit of emotion in his eyes, so they gave a little bit of wiggle room for that. Because when they brought out CGI Timberwolves, they were unbelievably detailed. Bear, same thing. So, but the story is at first, Buck is kidnapped and sold off because dogs are like hot stuff for the Yukon. And so he gets thrown up, and the next thing you know, he's in Alaska. He's been beaten. He's been battered. He's just needing a place, and some guy, takes him on by the name of Omar Sy. The actor, of course, that's his name. I don't know his character name, but he takes
Bishop.
him in. Yeah, Bishop. He takes him.
No,
in.
that's his name in X-Men.
It could be Bishop here. Who knows? But he comes in.
I doubt it.
He comes in.
It'll be fun.
And it would be. And he takes Buck under his wings, and he makes Buck more of a alpha dog than he used to be. Because he used to be, hey, I'll do what I want to do, type feel,
Wait, did he actually say that, the dog?
Well, he acts that way.
I'd watch it if he was voiced by...
he has the attitude. But, and the performance done by Harrison Ford, along with Buck, there are some moments where you're like, oh, that is heart-wrenching, because it's just, I don't know, Harrison Ford's just a great actor anyway, and to see, hey, don't you me on that, buddy, he is one of the best in our times, and, quiet down, mister, who do you think is the greatest of our times?
Not Harrison Ford.
What is it? Give me an actor.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, quit that. Just what? You think I'm going to trample on the dead? No, I will trample on the dead. Because Philip Seymour Hoffman, he was okay as an actor. Shut
up.
He had no
Harrison
chops.
Ford, come on, man.
Harrison Ford has
it's
better
not that
chops.
different from Blade Runner to this, to Hollywood Homicide,
he
to
is.
What Lies Beneath.
He's always.
There's a reason he's never been nominated for an Oscar, which is a fact I have not double-checked.
It is not a true fact, by the way. But no, he was great in Witness and all these other films.
Stanley Tucci.
You still watch
better.
It. No, don't even.
Tom Hanks.
Don't even.
Paul Giamatti.
Oh, no, don't even.
Jared Leto.
You lost all credibility when you brought Paul Giamatti in.
What?
Yes.
You don't like Paul Giamatti?
I like him, but he's not better than Harrison Ford.
Ladies and gentlemen, episode 38 in the final episode.
Yes, absolutely. Because a lot of people just threw up in their mouths listening to you speak.
Listen to you.
Listen to this, though. But Call the Wild. Let's get back on track.
Whatever.
The performance done by a great actor by the name of Harrison Ford, and and this CGI dog is so believable, and it's just he has his own backstory as well that he fleshes out, and to me it's just a remarkable film. Children that were there watched it and loved it. Older people were.
Yeah, did you ask them afterwards?
You could tell they didn't move. They didn't even bother.
Hey, little girl.
you watch your audience. I watch.
Would you recommend this to my 5-year-old niece?
Yes, I would.
All right, I might see it.
It's a fun
I might see
film.
it then.
It should captivate her with everything that's going on. I give this a 4 for this film. It's just I wanted to do so well at the box office. Unfortunately, it's behind the 8 ball a little bit. But, it cost a lot of money to make this one for some reason, but it did 125 until it made 25 million. So it's got a while to go. So, but yeah, go out, watch it, take your families. This is one of those movies that should have word of mouth if you haven't seen it. But to our credit, our theaters were always sold out when we tried to go watch it. So,
well, this next movie we're going to review is what I like to call the story of Harrison Ford's career. Downhill.
you stop that.
Oh!
You know what? That's just, you should be embarrassed.
A woman starts to have second doubts about her husband after he runs away from an approaching avalanche, leaving her and their 2 sons behind. This one stars Will Ferrell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Amon Ford, Zach Woods, and Julian Gray.
I just kept it to the basics.
Zach Woods is good enough to mention.
Well, then the other girl is too.
I don't remember her name on top of
Chloe
my head.
Sam, I think.
Chloe what?
Chloe Sam or something like that? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
But,
so Downhill. I was looking forward to this because I enjoy when Will Ferrell steps a little bit out of his comfort zone. Or, it does something different. What's the one where he's a drunk 10 days or 30 days or... everything must go.
Everything, yeah.
Otherwise adding a number to it. And I love Stranger Than Fiction.
Stranger Fiction's good.
And Dreyfus is also a really good actor, someone that we don't get to see enough of. I think we both have talked about enough said in the past and whatnot, so it's great to see her doing another movie because we don't get enough of them here. This one, man, I mean, I feel like I'm repeating myself a little bit, but this one to me is the most guilty of not getting to that next level that I wanted it to, man. Here, I like the story, I liked the performances here, but I just felt like it felt long and repetitive to an extent for me here. It just felt like we were never getting to that next moment of these guys' lives, and it's supposed to be a dramedy, and it really is. It's not that funny. It's not really that heartfelt either. So
dark in places.
So I don't know. I just felt like this was a little too dry for me to a degree. I did like some parts. I almost don't want to sound like I'm giving it too low of a rating. I'm not going to give it that bad of a rating. But there's just I just wanted more from it.
Yeah, I agree with you a little on this. I thought Will
Forte's not in this.
I was saying Ferrell, but I was kind of like hiccuping at the same time, but Will Ferrell did great. Basically, he played the character I probably would have been if I saw an avalanche coming toward my wife and children. I wouldn't hunker over them. I would run the opposite way. To me, the wife and the children, they were like deers in headlights, watching this thing come down on them. Jesus, dude. But again,
what are you blaming them?
Yeah,
it's not my fault. Y'all weren't fast enough.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, what was funny though is that in that scene when he's running away, he has the great sense of going back, not for his family, but for his cell phone, which I was like, yeah, that's true, because those things are expensive to replace. A family you can replace later. That's...
Now I know why you didn't like this movie. You thought Will Ferrell's getting a bad rep, huh?
Yeah, he's getting a bad rep, because as this movie draws on, you know who looks like the bad guy in this? Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character.
I don't know about that.
She will not let it go that he ran away, because it was, you always...
And he won't admit it, though, either. Now we're going to fight.
Well, because, why? Because he doesn't want to admit that he wasn't there for his family when he needed to be. And I understand that. And she's holding it against him as if if it was all premeditated. It's either the fight or flight reflex. And, at least I'm going to tell you that I might flight, okay, in my reflex, okay? If something should happen, you're all on your own. But... as you said, though, it doesn't get to that point because it's just every day of the same story, and you're seeing the disappointment in the children's eyes, and you see the disappointment in her eyes, and you feel he's just battered. He gets battered a lot in this film. But again, deservedly, I'm not saying because he does finally cock to it, but I just say, though, it's just, if you felt any emotion for anyone in this film, I thought it would be for Will Ferrell at that point, and it was. And to me, other than that, it was like you said, it just didn't get there all the way. It's entertaining to me. I laughed a few times here and there. I'm going to just tell you, I gave it. I'm going to have to look it up here. I believe I gave it 2.5. 2.5 snows. But
I'm actually going to overrate you now. I'm giving it a 3. There's enough here that works to where I think it's still worthy enough of checking out. But this definitely screams like a not a theater movie. Unless you're like us, you go to theaters anyway. Yeah. 10 times a week. But
it had a nice ending though at the end. Do you not think it had an ending where you say, made you think.
Or maybe,
where she was at. What was she thinking what happened at the end? So, and everyone was taking stock in that whole exact thing that took place. So, It's like I said, 2.5. You gave it 3, so good job for everybody involved. So the next thing we're going to do, we're actually going to talk about underrated films. Top 5 underrated films. The next time we'll talk about the top 5. What's the other one that we brought up?
Underseen. I like to talk about.
Yeah, movies.
Underseen and guilty pleasures. I think will be fun lists.
Yeah. So, and some of these could overlap those. That's how I look at it.
It's a tricky thing because I was looking up underrated and like some people are throwing out some movies where I was like, I don't think that's underrated because to me I want to try to pick films that I think are great. That aren't talked about a lot, or don't give the love, and it may be falling out over time.
The way I look at it, though, is movies that the way it's underrated to me is that I enjoy them so much, but I could actually ask a crowd of people, and half of 90% of them say, "Oh." What are you talking
they
about?
haven't seen it, or they hate it.
They've never seen it.
Okay, that's what. And
that's to me the most underrated film. Me is a movie that it should have been seen by everybody, but it never did. And maybe it'll catch up later. As life moves on, and some of these might be that same way, but at the same time, I have some good films that I think everyone should at least watch once and enjoy. So
absolutely.
So what do we got? You want to start it off, or do you want me to start it off?
You got honorable mentions?
I got some honorables. I'll give you 10 through 6.
Give me 10 through 6. I'll give you my 10 through 6.
I got Dogma.
Okay, I love Dogma.
But I'm a cheerleader.
Okay.
Empire Records.
Okay.
A Long Way Down. 2 Days in the Valley.
I haven't seen the majority of those. A Long Way Down, is that...
That is a Nick Hornby adaptation of his book, A Long Way Down, is the same name.
Brosnan, Paul.
Pierce Brosnan.
Okay, I like that. I don't know if it's in my top 10, but yeah, that's a good underrated film.
Yeah, it's a very good underrated movie. It's one of his other...
Imogen Poots?
Yeah, Imogen Poots is
really good in it.
Yeah, it's just a good film, very good.
And yeah, I love Dogma. I love that, or I like that a lot.
Valley.
I haven't seen.
Good. That's with Charlize Theron, James Spader, Danny Aiello.
R.I.P.
And it's just a lot of.
I've never seen Cheerleader.
Yeah, Cheerleader. Fantastic. It's about a closeted gay cheerleader who gets sent off. It's a comedy.
I saw that on research. I saw people mention that.
And she gets thrown off into this. This camp.
What else you got?
Unless to rehab her. Dogma, of course. Not that many people still see Dogma. Some people are, don't listen to it.
And because of, I think, Miramax, whatever, it's not readily available on Blu-ray or digital.
Absolutely.
You cannot get it on Vudu right now.
No, you can't get it anywhere.
No.
Really. And on top of that, if you want Empire Records. Another good movie to watch.
My 10 through 6 are Hunt for the Wilder People, number 9, Waitress,
yes.
Number 8, Nightcrawler,
yes.
Number 7, Drive, and number 6 is Brick.
Yeah. The only one I didn't care for on that list. Drive almost is fair.
Oh, I love it. I think that's got a great soundtrack, vision,
but I don't.
Cast.
I didn't like Nightcrawler. I know I'm in the
really.
I just never liked it.
I thought he was the number 1 snub that year, Gyllenhaal. I thought Gyllenhaal.
No, I can see he could have gotten for that. But
he is that movie though.
Yeah, but I just didn't like the film itself. So there's something about the film I just didn't like.
I got you. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is, and again, this would be on the other list as well. Enough Said. With Julia Louis-Dreyfus, James Gandolfini. I still like this film. It's a sweet little film. It's a great rom-com. And unfortunately, James Gandolfini died before this premiered.
Oh, really? Okay.
He was in Italy doing something with his son. He died then at that night. But and then a couple weeks later, this film was actually released, I believe. And to me, it's just, again, like you say, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, we don't get to see a lot of her acting side, but these two had such great chemistry. And I enjoyed watching every ounce of this film. That's why it made my number 5. And again, it's probably the most unseen film, too, as you say. So, but yeah, underrated, that's another one that is underrated, in my mind.
My number 5 is the oldest movie on my list, and that is Renaissance Man with Danny DeVito.
Yes.
One of early Mark Wahlberg films as well. Yep. He goes and he's kind of reluctantly has to teach these, stubborn soldiers about, Shakespeare and all these different things. And
it's almost like Dead Poet Society in the army.
Some, yeah, man. And I guess looking back on it, some people, it gave it lower ratings, critic-wise anyway.
Yeah.
Because they feel like it's one of those pandering, schmaltzy films.
Yeah,
but
is.
I don't know, man. It worked for me.
I watched it
think
in the theater.
The heart is there. I really enjoyed it. It was something that about a year or two ago, I actually was like, I haven't seen this. I bought the DVD for cheap on eBay because I wanted to see it again for the first time in a while. So that's my number 5. I think it's underrated and an enjoyable movie.
My number 4, I've brought up numerous times on this thing. It's not Joe versus the Volcano. Okay,
oh, God.
I would love to have put it on the list. I didn't because I think to me it's finally catching fire. But Blind Date, I've talked about it over and over again. Phil Hartman, you have you have Bruce Willis, early Bruce Willis, before he became a cocky bastard. You have Kim Basinger, John Larroquette, the principal off of that one show that you love, The Boy Meets World, that guy.
William Daniels.
William Daniels, also
Kit.
the voice of Kit. Is also in it, I believe. And I gotta tell you, the film to me is pretty good. It's like, the only thing that what sets it all off and all into the motion is Bruce Willis is a friend of Phil Hartman. And Phil Hartman sets him up on this blind date, and he goes, whatever you do, don't let her near the wine. And what does he do? He lets her near the wine because he's like, well, that must be something, man. That's got to be the fun. And then all hell breaks loose after that. So it's him trying to get this girl the whole night long because all hell breaks loose. Kim Basinger in her probably one of her best roles that were ever out there. Besides Cool World, I guess you could say. Because she was just an animated drawing. But
Wow.
but yeah, I thought it was pretty good. One that you should check out. It's underrated in my book. What do you got for me at number 4?
My number 4 features one of the greatest actors of our generation.
Paul Giamatti?
Paul Giamatti.
Stanley Tucci?
No, I don't think he's in this one.
Carrot Top?
Speaking of underrated, I like Chairman of the Board. Anywho, number 4.
I should just stab you right now where you sit.
Barney's Version. Have you ever seen this movie?
What?
No, okay. The look of what on your face.
I'm thinking Barney of the dinosaur variety.
I love you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You love me.
Hey, everybody, do you want to go out there and play?
Now you sound like Will Ferrell, Harry Carey. Hey, everybody.
Hi, everybody, this is Harry Carey of the Cubs.
All right, we're getting off the rails, Jim. Off the rails.
This is what happens when we move studios.
I know, because we got no camera or switches to look at. Yeah. Number 4, Barney's Version. This is 2011, I believe.
I need to hunt this down.
This is a wonderful film. Paul Giamatti, they basically spanned, I think, 3 decades, and it shows him going from 3 different marriages, including his third wife with Rosamund Pike, which is like, I believe, the same year or two within Gone Girl, where all of a sudden I was like, oh man, I love this Rosamund Pike. And he actually falls in love with Rosamund Pike, his third wife, at his second wedding. She's at his wedding, and he's just so smitten by this girl that he spends half his wedding just trying to get to know her. And Dustin Hoffman plays Paul Giamatti's dad. He's wonderful in this. And there's just some
Jake Hoffman's in this film, too, I see.
Who's Jake Hoffman?
That's the son of Mr. Hoffman.
Oh, okay, cool, okay. There's some great heart-wrenching moments between Giamatti and Hoffman, and also the last scene with Giamatti and Pike that just put this over the top for me. Great performance by that whole cast. Scott Speedman as well in this. I really love this movie. This is a great example of underrated, underseen. 80-something, I think, on Rotten Tomatoes. It's fantastic.
Never seen it. Will I watch it? Maybe, if I come across it.
Obviously, you have a fucking problem with Paul Giamatti. Maybe
I don't have a problem with Paul Giamatti. I just have a problem when you put him up higher than Harrison freaking Ford.
I don't just put him higher. I put him in a whole other class, my friend.
Well, because he should be a second-tier class.
Whatever.
My number
Hollywood
3.
homicide.
Let's go to number 3, my friend. Number 3, Better Off Dead with John Cusack, my good man. It is probably one of the most underrated films. I could ask anybody in a room, that film, and no one understands that film at all. Today I actually played a clip of it for him, and it was the simplest clip ever. I won my $2! Okay? That is my favorite clip. This kid,
When you say it without any backstory, Makes no sense.
But I just love... If you watch the movie, you'll understand it.
I've never seen it.
You should watch it. I Want My $2 is basically the newspaper boy going after John Cusack throughout the whole entire film. And it's just a great... David Ogden Steers is in it. It's just a fantastic little film, and it's a kind of like a rom-com as well. I believe Booger from what's his name? Revenge of the Nerds. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's also in it. But yeah,
that's not a plus.
No, it is. It's actually pretty good because he was good in the '80s. He was also in Risky Business as well as Tom Cruise's friend.
No.
So watch it, enjoy it, and laugh, and until you cry. So go ahead.
My number 3 is a movie where you will not laugh at all because it is super serious and depressing. It's Prisoners. A few years back, Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Terrence Howard, Paul Dano. They're out one day and their kids are playing, and one kid from Jackman and his family, one kid from Terrence Howard's family get abducted, and it's about that crazy search to try to get your kid back and the extreme lengths that you will do and go to in order for that. There's some heroin stuff here with Jackman, who very much suspects Paul Dano is either the caper or at least involved in it, and I don't want to give spoilers away, but just some crazy, deep, dark stuff. Gyllenhaal's great in it as well. And yeah, this is a really, really well-made film.
Okay, well, I don't remember seeing that one as well, so...
That's why it's on the list, my friend.
It's on the list. It's got to be worth something, I'm thinking. Let me see here. What else we got here? My number 2... Brewster's Millions. Everyone loves a John Candy film, along with Richard Pryor. To me, Richard Pryor, he basically inherits $1 million or so. And then if he spends all that $1 million in X amount of time, he then will get 10 million or something like that. I can't remember the dollar amounts, but back then it was a lot of money.
I was gonna say $1 million. I'd probably do that with my debt and
you could do that
grocery shopping.
2 seconds. 2 seconds nowadays you can spend $1 million, but you couldn't profit from it, so you'd have to buy shit basically for whatever you buy, And it's just a good little film. Funny, talks about friendship as well. John Candy is a stand-up guy in all his films. Actually, he's never really played a deviant. You know what I'm saying? He's never really played a full deviant in any film that I know of. But but no, this film is funny. It's just I don't know. It's just warm and better. By the way, when Jimmy Fallon tried to rip this off, vote none of the above. Jimmy Fallon tried to say, vote none of the above, like it was his own shtick. But guess what? This movie came up with it first, because that's how he spent most of his money away, by running for mayor, and he didn't want anybody to win, so he just said to vote nobody and vote none of the above, because both candidates were awful. And so that's what Richard Pryor did.
I get what you're saying now. At first I had no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's just a good film. Watch it. Enjoy it. I always tell you, just watch the damn movies. We tell you about these movies, go out and watch them. What do you got for number 2?
My number 2 was a film that came out a few years ago. Maybe we saw it together. I don't quite remember. Ingrid Goes West.
Yes. We both saw it together. We were like 4 people in the theater.
Yes. Aubrey Plaza is a girl whose mother just died, and I think her girlfriend is now dating her former boyfriend at the beginning of the film, and she just goes in this crazy depression and now obsessiveness with Elizabeth Olsen's character, and slowly weaves her way into her life through deception and fakery, and it is just a crazy but fun film. Again, really shows different levels that Aubrey Plaza can bring if she wants to here.
And it showed me that the other Olsen girl could actually...
Elizabeth Olsen's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, she's other movies too she's been in later after that.
Proven. I think even before that too. She has really put together a nice little record herself now.
Yeah.
And O'Shea Jackson and Ryan Russell, another kid, Kurt Russell's kid. And yeah, I just thought this was a really interesting, inventive film about just trying to kind of fitting in and whatnot, and the lengths people will go to.
Absolutely. Here we go. Here's this.
I want my $2.
So,
thank you.
I want my $2.
Well worth it.
It was always well worth it.
As $2. We get demonetized.
Nah, no one's gonna even know. It's just a sound clip. Anywho, my number 1 And I think you finally got around to watching this, I think. I hope you did.
Goonies!
I let my cousin watch it. My cousin Martin, he watched it for the first time and probably ever. And he thought it was a very good movie, too. The Man Who Knew Too Little with Bill Murray. In which he's from he works for Blockbuster Video, Des Moines, Iowa, and he's brought over Gallagher, Peter Gallagher, I believe is the eyebrow guy. I can't remember. Anyway, he comes over, has his brother, and he comes to visit. And he just to get him out of the way, he puts him in this little drama club. Turns out the drama club, he goes to the wrong address for the drama club, and it turns out he's had a murder, and therefore he's now put into this spy. Bill Murray is now known as a spy in this film, and he thinks it's all improv throughout the whole film. So he's like, hey, that's pretty cool. Don't point that gun at me. Is it one of those fake guns, you know? And he's like, oh, and then he takes the gun and he goes, now the tables have turned. And he doesn't know that this is all real, but he's in his own mind that he is doing this fantastic improv thing that his brother bought him in England. So and everyone is so, you know, because he's just lucky to be surviving all this, you know, where one thing happens and he beats the bad guy on this and he beats the bad guy on that. He goes, oh, he's a hell of a spy, you know, and you're like, dear God, he's just a regular man. But I loved it. Bill Murray plays it so well. And he's just, as always, Bill Murray's just a comedic genius in this film. And if you haven't ever seen The Man Who Knew Too Little, you gotta go watch it. You know, you gotta get to it.
Now, I don't know why you said I saw it recently.
I didn't know. I thought we talked about it. Maybe you thought about it.
No, we've never talked about this movie.
Oh, I thought we did. No.
I don't think we ever did. No.
Well,
but I did see it a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
This is something I've seen.
Oh, okay, good.
My number one is a movie that I loved. I was hoping there'd be a sequel, but unfortunately people just didn't drive out to see it. From a great director as well as Shane Black. That is The Nice Guys.
Oh, yes. The Nice Guys.
Ryan Gosling, and who's really funny in it too. Probably never been funnier.
Yeah.
Some great, what do you say, just body work and whatnot, and
Russell Crowe.
Practical. And then Russell Crowe, man, never more charming and likable, but still a bit of gruffness to him as well, where he can still kick your ass.
Yes.
And it just, again, it's a really inventive screenplay. Mm-hmm. It has some nice twists and turns to it. It's gritty to it at some points and violent at some point, but it's still also really fun. It's something that where if you had told me, I mean, I know Russell Crowe and Gosling probably wouldn't do it, but, you know, a TV show or a sequel, I would totally be down for it.
I would have been down for the sequel on this one.
Absolutely, and I think everyone would have been, and it just unfortunately was one of those R-rated original films that, man, that's what we talk about wanting to see, and we got it, and not enough did. Not enough did, and yeah, that's why I think this is definitely worthy of being on the list. I think it has a fan base. I think all of ours do, like even Better Off Dead.
Yeah.
I definitely have heard people say that with you.
Yeah.
That's a great film.
Yeah.
So, you know, but this is definitely one that came to mind as to, like, yeah, it needs some love.
Well, you know what, though? I think what I like about Nice Guys is there is a scene, and I believe this who's the director? Black, I think, was it Shane Black? Shane Black. So Shane Black wrote and directed this, I believe, right? But anyway, what I like about his is that when there's a gunshot, there's a ramification for that gunshot. Because there's a scene where he gets shot, and somebody is in their own home, and then they get shot, you know, in their butt or whatever it was. But it's just funny because there is a consequence. A lot of movies just show a gunshot. This actually goes all the way through, and you'll notice in his other films, he does the exact same thing, where there is a target at the end of that bullet, even if it wasn't on screen. I mean, you know, they would show it as it went through. So I think that's important in anything, because you know, bullets go places, people. They don't just, you know, just because it's off camera doesn't mean it doesn't go any further, you know?
We need to make a motivational flyer that says, bullets go places.
Yeah, you know, and I think, you know, NRA will pick that up, and then I'll be like, oh no, what did I do? You know, but yeah, I enjoyed that film as well. That's a great number one. So you want to go over our numbers again, just for fun?
Sure, man.
My number 10 was Dogma. 9, But I'm a Cheerleader. Number 6, Empire Records. Number 7, A Long Way Down. Number 6, 2 Days in the Valley. Number 5, Enough Said. 4, Blind Date. Number 3, Better Off Dead. Number 2, oh my goodness, I can't read all of a sudden. Dear God, it just got dark in here for me. Give me a second. There we go. Brewster's Million. And number 1, The Man Who Knew Too Little. So those are my top 10 underrated films. What about yours? What was yours again for a recap?
My 10 underrated, I have at number 10, Hunt for the Wilder People. Number 9, Waitress. Number 8, Nightcrawler. Number 7, Drive. Number 6 is Brick. Number 5, Renaissance Man. Number 4, Barney's Version. Number 3, Prisoners. Number 2, Ingrid Goes West. And number 1, Nice Guys.
You know what I like? I like it when we don't overlap.
Did we have any?
We had none that overlapped.
Nice.
Which is always a good thing.
Nice. Well, that's what I like. It's kind of a broad subject to a degree, but I like it because, yeah, like we said, we both had different movies on our minds here.
So what we have next is my favorite segment, as always. It's not that deja vu thing that we've kind of thrown. We've kind of thrown that to the curb because no one ever does homework. But no, mine is news and notable stuff. One day we're gonna do a bumper. We got to do a bumper one time for that. Anyway, what do you got for us, Jordan? Because this is you, and I will chime in anytime.
Well, let's go over some box office, my friend, from this past weekend. At number 5, The Boy 2, Brahms, debuted at $5 million. Hopefully that means it won't do any more.
He probably made his budget back, though,
yeah,
unfortunately.
that is true, sadly. Number 4, Bad Boys for Life, added another $5 million, bringing it to $191 million. Number 3, Birds of Prey, made another $6 million, bringing that to $72 million. And number 2, Call the Wild, debuted with $24 million. And number 1, Sonic the Hedgehog, made another $26 million, bringing that to $106 million. I
think there might be a sequel. What about you?
Yeah, I think we're going to see it, man. We're going to see some tails, maybe some Nucks.
Maybe.
Who's that here they were talking to about being Nucks?
Some other woman, too. I mean, there's another one. Besides Nucks, there's a love interest that he had as well.
All right. American Horror Story. A fan?
No.
Horror Story?
No, not a big fan.
Well,
But go ahead.
maybe you will be when we talk about Season 10's cast that they're building. Sarah Paulson and Evan Peters are going to return. They've actually been in 9 out of 10 seasons. They skipped last season, but they're back now for Season 10. They're joining Kathy Bates, Billy Lord, who I know you're a fan of.
Yes.
And Finn Wittrock. And now they casted Macaulay Culkin.
Well, good for him. I'm happy that they seem like they're getting their cast back on.
So, Kevin McAllister,
yeah.
American Horror Story. Speaking of horror, if you like the show or wanted to see the show Creep Show, but you don't have that Shudder, AMC is going to air Season 1. Get people ready for Season 2 over at Shudder. So, nice little taste to it if you're kind of hesitant on Shudder. Give Creep Show a chance. Maybe you'll want to do a little subscription there. I know you love yourself some horror.
I don't, not much, not at all.
Continuing on my horror talk.
You're a whore!
Kevin Smith's Kilroy was here, is aiming for a fall release. This has been shot for a while.
Yes.
I believe they were done in 2018. But I think between Jay and Silent Bob and even writing other things, and he toured for the long. They just finished
the tour,
Jay and Silent Bob reboot roadshow. So I think they're finally focusing now and finally getting Kilroy out there. This one stars, of course, Harley Quinn Smith.
Of course. You know me, I'm like...
And Chris Jericho.
It's great for her to, and that's the thing, the one that filmed in Sarasota, if I'm not mistaken, as well. The Ringling...
Yes, Ringling, yes.
Yes.
Not a horror movie, but some horror names.
What?
Lee Whannell, and Jason Blum had both had interest in Upgrade Part 2. Upgrade, great film. I definitely think it had the start of building more towards that world. So I would love to see it, but unfortunately, these are two busy dudes who are just saying, yeah, we do it. So, doesn't mean anytime soon. Speaking of not anytime soon, Creed 3 has nailed Zach Balan as a screenwriter for the third in that trilogy.
Oh, jeez, okay.
The first one written by Ryan Coogler. The second one, Sylvester Stallone actually wrote the screenplay with Jewel Taylor, and now Balan is currently writing the third one. But again, Michael B. Jordan's pretty busy. They don't have director's sets, so could be a little while.
Speaking of 3,
tell me.
Jurassic World has a title, and it's called Dominion.
Speaking of the next thing I was going to say, that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, don't be.
See, this is great. I don't have your notes, so this is always fun. I always find it fascinating that we sometimes get on
No, it's legit. Kilroy, Whannell, Jurassic World 3.
Yeah, so, I can't wait for this. I want this to be the last one.
It will be for now.
But,
they keep making money.
If they keep making money, they'll just get a new cast and move on with a younger, more enthusiastic.
I'm sorry, I've been very ho-hum ho-hummed by these last two?
I thought the last one was actually pretty good. I didn't have any issues with it.
They're both 2.5ers.
They're eye candy delights for threes to me. They're like threes because they're just eye candy. And sometimes you got to slurp it up. Also, big news. Steven Spielberg says he will not direct Indiana Jones 5. He won't do it. Not gonna do it. Why? Because he did that last one. It was atrocious. The Crystal Skulls. Yes. So we don't need him, and I think we ran out of battery. No, we did. We're doing good. Okay. I just saw nothing going on over here on my end. But James Mangold, he's up for it. He might be doing it, so they're going to be looking at him to do it.
And that's your 4v Ferrari guy, right?
Yeah, and I believe Logan as well. So he's
got a great track record.
He's got a pedigree for good movies.
I mean, and I know he's not known directly for a direct action piece, but I think he can do action. So.
Oh, this is right up his alley, and I think if they sign him, it's going to be great. Big news at Disney: Bob Iger has stepped down. He's supposed to be there until March, but then he said, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done. I don't know why. Maybe something's going to go down. Maybe the quarter is going to go down, for filing or something. And so he's like, I'm going to get out of here before bad news hits. So I'm going to leave on top while my predecessor, my successor comes in and he can take all the blame. You know what I'm saying? It's possible, but I think he's just done. He's been wanting to retire for a while. They just keep throwing gobs and gobs of money at him. And like any human, yes, I'll stick around for the $23 billion that you want to pay me. I don't care. The next thing we have, I don't know. There's a few other notes here. We got the Matrix 4 has started filming, as we all know. So that's getting ready for next year. I think it comes out next year, I believe, right? Then James Brolin is going to star in Amazon's Brad Pitt produced drama Outer Range. So that'll be fun. So yeah, there's a lot of things out there. A lot of new movies coming out too. We have a lot of movies coming out this week. Do you know of Invisible Man is one of them? Is that the only one that's coming?
Pretty much. I mean, there are a couple of limited releases as well, but yeah, wide release. Yeah, it's just Invisible Man, which I'm personally looking forward to.
Yeah, I do want to watch that. Also, if you could see it, Guns Akimbo in some limited release areas. I think the Jesus Rolls movie, the sequel to The Big Lebowski, is getting limited released. So we're going to see some decent movies coming down the pike, and we're going to, it's going to be very exciting as we move into the spring months. And basically, spring has now become summer in my mind. So what we're going to have to do next week is get together and talk about our upcoming summer films. Is it too early for summer? Because if spring comes in, but you should see the guns that are coming out in spring. It's unbelievably the guns that are already waiting.
Well, we'll do summer probably, I would say, late April.
Okay, well, we'll do that then in April, but we'll also talk about our spring films if you want that are coming out. Because there's a lot of spring films that are, I'm just scrolling through them right now, that will look fun. They're going to be good. So, anyway, that's all I got for you guys tonight. What else do you got? Anything else?
Yeah, but I got some more horror movie news.
Oh, well, tell me more!
The Candyman poster is out, written by and produced by Jordan Peele, and the trailer's dropping tomorrow, so by the time, if you're listening to this and you haven't seen it, go check out that new Candyman trailer. I look forward to seeing it. I think it's got potential. Little Shop of Horrors remake, it shoots this summer. Director Greg Berlanti has put together one hell of a cast, man. Have you heard of this cast?
No.
Taron Egerton, Scarlett Johansson, of course, as Seymour and Audrey. Chris Evans as the dentist, which I can totally see.
Yeah.
And Billy Porter will voice Audrey too.
Yeah.
No news on who's Mushnick. Just throwing this out there, Hollywood. I played him in high school. I did this voice the whole time. So I could,
Well, I can do it too, you know. It's a dime a dozen.
Seymour, how would you like to be my son? How would you like to be my own adopted boy? I never liked him much before, but count the cash is in the drawer. He has no choice, you must say yes. Anywho.
All off the top of the old noggin.
Hey, man, when you do it a bunch, You remember that shit.
I remember. Don't forget the new cast of He-Man, the animated series on Netflix.
Yeah, you know that. That's got a good cast.
That's got a great cast.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Mark Hamill. Let me just pull
Tony
it up.
Tood.
We got there's so many. All I'm gonna say is
Harley Quinn Smith.
yeah. Okay.
Jason Mewes.
Yeah, Jason Mewes will be in it. Even the original, good guy. The original.
You know, if you
Oppenheimer.
IMDb Jason Mewes and it says upcoming projects, it just says parentheses whatever Kevin's making.
Oh, it doesn't say that really? No. That'd be fun. That'd be great. Anyway, I'm just saying Kevin Conroy's going to be in it.
Kevin Conroy,
Oppenheimer's going to be in it. The original voice is Skeletor. He's playing someone else, but because Skeletor is done by Mark Hamill this time around, it'll be a fun cast. No more Harley Quinn. That's all I'm asking. Harley Quinn Smith.
It's not happening.
I know.
Until she gets,
do you think the people
gives
get
up,
this Birds of Prey thing? Do you think they're getting Harley Quinn Smith and Harley Quinn mixed up, and they're like, I don't want to do it anymore?
Yeah, Jim. I think a lot of people are
don't
like,
want to do
what
it.
is a biopic about Smith's daughter?
Yeah.
I'm not watching this.
It's possible.
I got enough of her.
You never know.
She was all over that reboot.
Speaking of Stanley Tucci, he's on TV.
Yeah, we're currently watching Burlesque in the background. It was on Netflix. I wanted to throw up something I knew I've never watched otherwise.
Yeah, Christina Aguilera looking young. Before
everyone, you keep saying that. We're watching Magnolia before. Like, wow, look how young these people look. Yeah, it's from '99, Jim. Of course they look younger.
Look, there's a live Seymour Hoffman. Anywho.
What a note to end on.
Yes. Anything else we got? We're all set.
Just one more thing.
What?
Downtown, things will be great when you're downtown.
Things will be greater for you.
I'm open for that Little Shop of Horrors movies.
Anyway, damn. Anywho, saying goodbye, goodnight, and all the love in the world that Jordan likes to pretend to give you, I will give it better. So anyway, I'm Dutch McAllister.
Hey man, I'm not Meg Ryan at the dinner table. I ain't faking it.
Oh.
I'll have what he's having.
Oh, you cheeky monkey. Anyway, thank you guys for enjoying it, our little banter time. But we got to get to real business. Our real business is wrestling business. So I'm all lubed up over here. Let's wrestle, buddy. Let's do it.
I just want to watch wrestling. Put your clothes on, Jim.
But it's interactive. It's interactive.
No, it's not.
It ain't?
No.
Oh.
Someone call the cops.
Good night, everybody.
Seriously, call the cops.